Who.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. This morning, for one reason or another, we were talking about Mr. Rogers and how he did not shy away from difficult topics. And I guess it's because we saw the trailer this weekend for the movie that they're putting out in Thanksgiving time, right?
Yeah.
So our next guest is giving us an opportunity to also face a difficult topic. Our next guest lost his daughter. She was murdered in his home. I think. I might have that wrong, but I think so. Dr. Buck Blodgett is the founder of the Love is Greater Than Hate Project. He and his wife were the parents of Jessie, As I mentioned, she was murdered. She was only 19 years old when she was murdered. Dr. Blodgett is a chiropractor, which is probably why it says chiropractor on my caller ID here. I thought maybe he's the founder of the Chiropractic and Wellness Group and Wellness Doctors. The book, I didn't read all of it, but what I read, oh my gosh, it gives you hope for sure. So while it's a difficult topic, you know, in true Mr. Rogers form, I suppose, it also has a hopeful message to it. Dr. Buck Blodgett, it's an honor to have you on our show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Larry. Thanks for having me and Jess on your show.
I love that you say it that way.
Well, that's how it lives for me.
Yeah. Where are you right now?
I'm in my office in the back of my chiropractic clinic, which I didn't realize you would know that I was calling from, just outside of Milwaukee.
Oh, Milwaukee. Well, Robin's from Milwaukee. Did she tell you that?
No, small world.
Yeah. So when was Jessie murdered?
6 years and 14 days ago.
Wow. I'm so sorry. It's got to still hurt.
Yeah, you know, people told us early on that when we were looking for some comfort that the pain never goes away and you will get used to it and you'll adapt to it and you'll learn to function and deal with it, which has all been true. And I'm convinced now that they were right and it won't go away until I leave this body. But, you know, there's more to the story than the tragedy.
Tell me about her song, Butterflies.
Oh, it was the first song she ever wrote. It was in 7th grade. She was so shy at the time, which people who knew her a little later in life don't believe because she was so brave. But she was so shy that Joy and I had never even heard the song. And in 8th grade, at the 8th grade talent show, she performed it in front of 200 parents and kids for the first time in public and brought the house down. And I dropped my jaw, and it was my top of the list, proud dad moment. And it was the time when I saw her talent and knew it was my new job in life to help her find it.
Did you have dreams that she was going to die before that concert or before that performance?
Didn't have dreams. I had things that I never would have called premonitions at the time. I just thought, I had thoughts from time to time of, I just would imagine her funeral and me at it playing that song, Butterflies, and wanting everybody to hear it and know it was hers. And I just kind of dismissed those. I think every parent, you know, from time to time has thoughts about their child and worries about that. It never occurred to me until it happened that, oh my gosh, that's exactly what happened.
First thing you said to me was, thank you for welcoming you and Jess on the show. Do you believe she's with you right now?
I do, and I don't want to sound crazy for people who don't believe things like that. I didn't 7 years ago. I would have thought, you know, wishful thinking and coping mechanism and stuff like that. But I had about 24 things happen to me that I used to call signs. Now I just call them answers that just changed my worldview and made me this 53-year atheist think, dude, you've been missing something.
Oh my!
You know what? I absolutely believe. I don't know that I believe everything people tell me, like that is based on religion, and not that the Bible gets it wrong, but I think we misinterpret it. But I do believe that when people die, there's my brother died 2 months ago in Arizona, and Robin had a vision of him like before he actually died, but physically he was probably gone. So she had a vision. Isn't it? It's crazy. And I've had very few. I mean, I've had dreams, I guess, but not real vision. But Robin said he was standing in her bedroom, which makes sense. It was my brother.
Yeah.
He had to show up to her because, some people are more or less sensitive to that kind of thing than others, I think.
Yeah.
My wife and I joke about that. I'm jealous because she has dreams and I don't, and I wish I did. And she feels like she's visiting with Jessie. And, I don't have the answers. Life is a mystery and death is a mystery. But,
so the fact that you're a chiropractor tells me that you have dedicated your life to making people's lives easier, making people more at ease, making people more comfortable. Does the book serve that same goal?
Yes.
Okay.
The book it was a story that, I don't aspire to be an author or a speaker. I don't really want it, actually, but I can't help myself now. There was a story that just came out of me, and when I sat down to write, it took me about 4 or 5 months to write the book the first time through, and it just, I'd sit down and hours would go by, and it would just pour out of me. I never had anything like that before. I felt like it was almost written through me instead of by me.
You do reference different conversations from social media in your book.
Do you mean chapter 12, Welcome to Facebook, where I quote a lot of Jessie's friends and teachers and family? Yeah, that girl made I think I knew her better than anybody, except maybe her mom. And she had a wide shadow, she cut a wide path. I had no idea how many people, we have no idea how many lives we touch as we go through this life. No idea.
You had a quote by, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Goethe?
Sorry, say again, Robin?
You had written a quote in there, and you elaborated on it by Goethe, Goethe.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Oh, boy, I don't have it committed to memory. But it's left an impression in my brain and in my heart forever, just about how now that I'm on your show live, I'm not going to be able to come up with it, my 60-year-old brain. A lot of your listeners know it, though, and anybody can Google Goethe's couplet.
One of the hardest things you and your wife had to do was wait for the trial.
Sure was hard. We did not have an official gag order, but the DA explained to us why we shouldn't say much of anything before the trial, and we knew he was right, and we didn't want to jeopardize the case and inhibit justice in any way for Jessie, so we didn't. But I was screaming from the inside out. I so wanted to, be a voice for her, defend her, tell her story, but even really more than that, ironically, Jessie's big mission in life was male-on-female violence. And her and I would walk and talk every day. It's my favorite part of the day, and she would tell me about it. And, I listened, but I didn't get it until it hit my family. And so now I do what I do so that
wow. I don't know the story. Who was her murderer? Her boyfriend?
No, a friend named Dan, and they sat next to each other in high school for 4 years, first and second chair violin. They were in all the musicals, all the plays, state solo ensemble competitions, forensics meets, the same performing arts family. And they did date. They met in ninth grade. They dated for about 3 months or so in ninth grade. Dan broke up with Jessie, so this wasn't breakup violence like if I can't have you, nobody can. It wasn't like that. 4 years had gone by, and they were both between freshman and sophomore year in college. Actually, Dan dropped out of college, which was crazy because he's one of the few kids in high school smarter than Jessie. Straight A student, never in trouble. And she worked hard to keep him in the circle of friends. She had 3 boyfriends in life. She broke up with 2 of them, but she wanted lifelong relationships, and she had all 3 of those boyfriends remain friends afterwards. So he was just a friend.
And he killed her in your home?
He did. He came in on a Monday morning after me and Joy had gone to work, my wife Joy, and he knew he was welcome in our home, and he knew our routine, and he knew Jessie was the fiddler in the Fiddler on the Roof by the Hartford Players Community Theater. And they performed Friday, Saturday, Sunday, had a late-night cast party, as is the tradition on Sunday. And so she was sleeping in, and he knew she would be, and he came in and went upstairs and did the unthinkable. And
gosh, I can't help but say I'm sorry. It's just something we're all feeling right now. So tell me what. Oh my gosh, tell me. You said you wished you had the dreams. Are other people telling you that they're hearing from her? And is there more to the story regarding messages from the other side, that kind of thing?
There's a lot more to the story. Joy and 2 of Jessie's friends, about a half a year after she was murdered, in our living room, we kind of discovered together that they had been having similar dreams in the weeks after Jess was killed for a few weeks. And Jessie was coming to all of them in their dreams, and that's what I was jealous of. But she found other ways with me, butterflies with me, and then other things, messages through who is now a friend who I didn't know at the time, that told me things that only me and Jessie knew. Even Joy didn't know, things that had just happened. And this person would have no way of knowing. So all kinds of crazy stuff. An exploding light bulb. The day after Jess was killed, we had a vigil at our house, kind of spontaneous. We had like 50 people in the house. All of our friends came over, family, and one of those friends was Dan, and we didn't know yet he was the killer. And about a minute or 2 before he knocked on our door, Joy was in the upstairs bathroom, and one of the light bulbs around the bathroom mirrors just spontaneously burst into about 100 pieces, and right before he knocked on the door. Now, I don't want to sound crazy. I'm not a fix-it guy. I'm sure light bulbs explode sometimes, but we lived in that house for 20 years, and that was the one time a light bulb did that, and it was right before he knocked on our door the day after.
Yeah, wow. You never know. And the fact that you were able to connect the two, a lot of people, if there was no reason to connect them, you wouldn't have. I think connecting them is also evidence that something happened. Tell me what you mean by butterflies remind you of her, or are a message to you from her.
The morning after, we couldn't stay in the house. Joy couldn't stay in the house. We went to a hotel, walked the streets of Hartford most of the night, came home with the morning light. I am a mover as it is, and the house was just so unbearably quiet and empty. Just me and Joy, we were a family of 2 again, and I had to get out. But Joy didn't want to, because she thought something that I didn't, which is we'd be inundated with neighbors who had questions and sympathies. She wasn't ready for that yet. So we compromised. We walked down to the bottom of the driveway, and this is like a 10-minute story that I know we don't have time for, but a weird thing happened with a butterfly that just caught my attention, and I think it's like you said a minute ago, it's one of those things that wouldn't have, anybody else would have just thought, oh, a butterfly. But the timing of it and the way it happened, and then what continued to happen over and over, not only with me, but with other people reporting to me, just...
oh my gosh, I wish we had more time to hear that. Is it in the book, the whole story?
Yes.
The book, for those just tuning in or need to hear it again, the book is called A Message from Jessie. I did find it on Amazon. It is written by our guest, Dr. Buck Blodgett. By the way, I looked up Goethe's, what would you call it again?
Goethe's couplet.
Couplet, and I got W. Murphy. Who's that? Is that Murray? W.H. Murray, or am I thinking of 2 different things?
Might be 2 different things.
Okay.
Goethe was an author.
Okay. The book is called A Message from Jessie. I found it on Amazon. 109 reviews. All 5-star reviews. That's pretty impressive. There's a couple of people, I suppose, who didn't give it 5 stars, but for the most part, you have 5-star reviews across the board.
What finally tripped people to suspect it was Dan?
We were sitting in the police station the third day. Well, they interviewed him, and because he had attacked a woman, a stranger, in a park 3 days before he killed Jessie.
Oh.
He was 210 pounds. Melissa and Jessie were both about 110 pounds. Melissa, by the grace of God, he attacked her with a big knife. He came up behind her and tackled her. She said, I was face down in the gravel, and the next thing I remember, we're standing up facing each other, and I have the knife in my hand. She grabbed the blade. She had, I think, 15 stitches in her palm. Grabbed the blade and wrestled it away from him. Stood up and faced him, and he said the weirdest thing. He said, "Can I just go now?" And she said, and he ran and he jumped in his van, and she had the presence of mind the police said that she gave the best description they ever had of a suspect and his vehicle, but she didn't get the plate number, couldn't get the plate, but make, model, right down almost to the year. So 4 days later, at the Slinger police station, they're all discussing the case, and a detective who's not on that case, a police officer, hears the discussion and says, "Hey, I was in that park doing routine patrols a couple weeks ago, and that van was in the same place, parked the same way. They went into his cruiser computer and got the plates, and that's how they tracked Dan down."
Wow. Well, there's another. That kind of thing. I don't know what you call it, karma. You indicated earlier that you were or have been atheist. Did it change your? Did you change? I mean, did you change everything about your belief system?
You know, I like to. I don't feel like I believe in God now. I just feel like I feel Him. There's a presence there that I wasn't connecting with before, and now I am. It showed itself to me. I had to ask for that and receive, and it's just been ridiculous. I have no words for it.
I love the way you said that. Not that I'm an expert on this at all, but I often thought that the words believe in is misconstrued to mean believe in the existence of. Because if I ask you if you believe in me, you're not going to think I'm asking you if you believe I exist, because you know I exist. But would you believe in me? Would you trust me with your daughter? And like if I say I'll drive your daughter to the next city, whatever, would you trust me? Would you believe in me? And that's how I think the words "believe in" mean in regards to God. Do you believe in, the fact that you're going to find the killer, or the fact that there is life after death, or whatever else we want to attribute it to?
Yeah, for me, there's a distinction between belief and faith. I think beliefs get us into trouble. Belief systems get us into trouble. They get us anchored into positions, and they cause sides, and and they divide us. But faith is a receptivity. It's not a belief system. It's a receptivity to me that unites instead of divides.
Well, you said in your book that Dan even was so belligerent that he was attacking your credibility as a father, as a person.
Yeah, felt like that when I read the book that he was writing. And, so don't know if we've talked about this at all yet, but me and Joy, I should just speak for myself, I've forgiven Dan. And, but, there's times I'm mad, and that was one of them. That was one of them that, how dare a young person who's never had children of their own and just took mine, who has no idea how much how deeply a parent loves their child, would do anything for him, would trade, I'd trade anything. I'd trade my life for Jessie's if I had the chance to.
Is your foundation good therapy for you and Joy?
It is. People say to me all the time, forgiveness must be really healing for you, and it is. However, I feel like forgiveness, I don't forgive in order for me to heal. I don't think that's real forgiveness. I forgive because I'm forgiven. I forgive because of this ridiculous presence that opened my eyes to love and kindness and non-judgment and forgiveness that changed everything for me, and that's why I forgive. But then in doing that, it's unbelievably healing.
Tell me about Jessie's ambitions. It seems like every single chapter begins with some of her words. I'm presuming those are from songs. Was that where she wanted to go, is to become a songwriter?
It is. Those are lyrics from the song. We only have 8 songs that friends had captured on their computers or had shared on YouTube, and we made a CD of Jessie's 8 songs. But she wrote all kinds. She had all kinds of half songs and little lyrics here and little pieces there. Music was in her, and she loved music, but it was bigger than that. She really, she was young and naive and very passionate about life and very courageous young person. And she really believed that music was her vehicle. She was going to change the world through music.
And she is now, because you've written this book and put down her thoughts, especially since she was into making people aware of violence against others and how she wanted to help with that, bring awareness and healing.
Jessie taught me that 1 out of 3 of our girls and women will experience some form of sexual assault in their lifetime. If she was 1 out of 1,000,000, I wouldn't be on the phone with you guys right now. I would have just chalked it up to 1 in 1,000,000. But it's 1 out of 3, and 1 out of 4 domestic violence, and 1 out of 6 of our boys sexual assault, 1 out of 7 of our boys domestic violence. 10 more girls and women will die today in my country, in your country, by the hand of a man. 10 more Jessies. So it was her mission in life, and now it's my mission in life. I owe it to her to do something about this. But I think we all owe it to all of our girls and women everywhere, because there's nobody who doesn't know someone who hasn't experienced sexual or physical violence like this. Most of us don't know that we know somebody who has, because it's still emerging from the shroud of silence in the last few years. But most people still don't talk about it.
I want to read a little bit of one of the reviews. I finished this book late this afternoon. Soon after I finished, I went to Facebook to touch base with some friends. The very first post I saw on Facebook was a photo of a monarch butterfly wings. Of monarch butterfly wings, I'm sorry. It was the top post on my page. It was a photo of monarchs all packed together so all one could see were wings. It was so ironic seeing that with Buck Blodgett's book fresh in my mind. So I have a similar story. I was one time wondering about something, and I don't even remember what it was, but I was praying to God, and then I had that moment where I thought, I wonder if he's even listening to me. And then I said to God, look, just as long as you're there, just somehow give me a sign that you're there. That's all I want. Not that you're going to answer my prayer, just that you're there. Show me a dog with a pink ribbon in his hair. That's all. So I left work, and everywhere I drove, I looked for a dog with a pink ribbon, and I didn't see any. I went home, went on to Facebook, and I am not lying. Very first top picture, big picture of 2 dogs, one with a pink ribbon in her hair. Isn't that amazing? It's similar to...
We don't talk about this stuff a lot, but now I appear to be a lightning rod for people's stories of sexual violence and butterflies. 6 years, 14 days. And this is the second butterfly story or sign story or something story like that I've heard this morning. It's ridiculous. Jessie said, I wrote this in the book, she said, Dad, she said this, I believe, from the other side through a friend named Laura. She said, Dad, butterflies everywhere. I'll share them with you. And oh my gosh, it's been crazy.
And you have created a memorial to Jessie at the Shower Performing Arts Center?
There's a tree. Mm-hmm. This is another whole story, but 4 friends who, one was Barbie, who I hadn't seen since she was 12, and she's a year younger than me, and I'm going to be 60 on my next birthday. We grew up in the same neighborhood in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, outside Milwaukee, and 2 others were 2 patients of mine, but one was from 20 years ago in a different clinic in a different town, and somehow all 4 of these people are best friends, and I never knew it. And it wasn't that they went to school together. They became best friends later in life, and Barbie rallied them all. They bought a beautiful butterfly magnolia tree for Jessie. It's from the South, but it somehow is thriving outside the Shower Arts Center in Greater Milwaukee area. So yeah, there's just a little wooden plaque and a tree for Jessie for the town to remember her.
I have a quick question about the timing. The book came out in, 2015, I think?
I don't remember.
So, you're promoting it now so much later. Is there a reason?
Okay, not to sound strange and like my head's in the clouds again, but I'm really not promoting the book. I really don't care about the book. And I love talking about, don't get me wrong, the book is one of our best. Yeah, it's one of the best. It's the whole story for the first year after Jessie died and the beginning of the project, which is really why I'm on the radio doing this campaign, is Jessie's legacy project, the Love is Greater Than Hate project. Our mission is culture transformation and ending male on female violence and inspiring people to choose love over hate. And so that's why I'm on the radio. I truly think, Doctor, that the campaigns that we as individuals start, like the one you are starting, it has more of an effect than laws. I think our legislators try, but I think laws, and maybe they make a difference, of course, but I think it's the campaigns. There's no law against smoking, but there are campaigns that are doing a really good job getting people to stop. So. Good point. I've been amazed at how many people have nonprofits, and so many of them, I didn't know this before, but now that I'm trying to network with allies everywhere, so many are just little ones, and they're not doing much, but there are people who went through the trouble of getting it's not easy to become a legit IRS nonprofit in the U.S., and so many people trying to do something outside of government and the law.
Yeah, well, I think the freedoms that we have give us that belief in ourselves that, hey, I'm going to change the world, and I think Jessie had that, and I think it was contagious, and you have it. And like you say at the beginning, thank you for being on with Jessie. So I believe Jessie was with us through this. Maybe I'll see a butterfly outside the window.
I've seen him this morning. It was kind of weird.
Oh, you did see some?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we're looking for them now, Doctor. Well, the book is a message from Jessie. I found it on Amazon, but the Love is Greater Than Hate project is the real focus. So how do we learn more about that, and how do we help you with that?
Well, thank you. We're on Facebook. It's just the Love Greater Than symbol Hate project on Facebook, the Love is Greater Than Hate project. And we also have a website, LIGTH. That's short for Love is Greater Than Hate, ligth.org. And that's how you can find out more, and the book is a good way to find out the origin story and the beginning of the project, too.
All right. Well, thank you for what you're doing. I think that is going to make a big difference. Let's hope it reaches the people it needs to reach. Dr. Blodgett, and thank you for giving us hope that people who we've loved who have passed are actually still with us.
I don't believe in false hope and rosiness if it's unfounded, but everything changed for me when I asked like you did, Larry, and different circumstances, but same basic answer. Dude, you've been missing something for a long time, and I think that's important to share with people. I think we're here to struggle and experience tough times and losses and tough things. I think there's spiritual value in that for our empathy and our compassion and what other things I'm sure I don't know. I think it's all important, but there for sure is hope too. Thank you so much, both of you, Larry and Robin, for having us on.
Well said, and absolutely you are welcome. All right, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. A home in Marion Oaks was severely damaged after a fire broke out yesterday afternoon with the owner and a 3-year-old inside. No injuries were reported. A 76-year-old Summerfield man and Vietnam veteran was shot to death in his home on Friday. U.S. Senator Rick Scott said yesterday that he was never told by Homeland Security officials in 2016 when he was Florida's governor that Russian hackers had gained access to voter databases in 2 Florida counties. A state commission has ruled that Florida Polytechnic University university was wrong to fire union members who had participated in collective bargaining. State demographic specialists estimate Florida's population will surpass 22 million residents by the year 2022. A student with a BB gun in his waistband at the University of Central Florida caused panic. And Universal Studios Islands of Adventure has topped TripAdvisor's list of the world's best amusement parks for the 5th year in a row. And that is your news brief from The Source.
A mix of clouds and sunshine for today with a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, high 86 to 91. As we headed to tonight, a partly to mostly cloudy sky, lows in the low to mid-70s. Times of sun and clouds for tomorrow. There will be a shower or thunderstorm around, a high between 88 and 91. Wednesday will have some sunshine giving way to clouds. There will be a shower or thunderstorm around the afternoon, high 89 to 92. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It's time for the 37th annual Ocala Shrine Rodeo. Thursday, August 29th. Don't miss bullfighters only, the baddest animals on the planet. Rodeo action Friday and Saturday, August 30th and 31st, 7:30 nightly.